Welcome to Sleepy Gamer Stories, the place for calm, relaxing video game tales to help you drift off to sleep. If you enjoy tonight's gentle story, please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, settle in and let's begin. The story begins in the endless dark of space, where a swirl of stars glows faintly. Slowly, the view drifts down toward a planet, beautiful yet mysterious. Its glow is a soft greenish hue, like an emerald in the void. That glow is the life stream, the very essence of all life on the planet. And from that serene beginning, we descend, closer and closer, until we see the streets of a sprawling industrial city called Midgar. Midgar is not like an ordinary city. It is enormous and circular, divided into 8 sectors like slices of a mechanical pie. The upper plate is held high in the air, while the slums lie beneath in shadow. Giant reactors surround the city, drawing life energy from the planet to power Shinra Electric Power Company's empire. You can almost hear the hum of machines, the hiss of steam, and the metallic echo of footsteps. The air is heavy with smog. In this cold, industrial darkness, we meet our first character. Her name is Aerith Gainsborough. She is a gentle young woman with long brown hair, tied with a pink ribbon and a soft pink dress. She kneels beside a small basket of flowers. Flowers struggling to bloom in this dying city. Aerith's green eyes shimmer faintly with something unusual, something otherworldly. She is a flower girl in the slums of Midgar, selling blooms that are rare in such a polluted place. She lifts her gaze toward the sky, sensing something. Then the camera pulls back, showing the whole expanse of Midgar at night. The enormous Mako reactors pulse with green light, feeding on the planet's energy. The view zooms closer to a speeding train cutting through the darkness. This train is carrying our main character, Cloud Strife. Cloud steps off the train with quiet confidence. He has striking spiky blonde hair, piercing blue eyes that glow faintly with Mako energy, and wears a soldier uniform, remnants of a life he doesn't fully remember. On his back rests a giant broadsword, almost comically large, but he carries it as if it were light as a feather. Cloud is distant, almost cold, as if he doesn't want to be tied to anyone or anything. He is here on a mission, hired as a mercenary by a small eco-terrorist group called Avalanche. This group fights against Shinra, believing the company is killing the planet by draining its life energy. Avalanche's leader is Barret Wallace, a towering man with dark skin, a strong build, and a mechanical gun arm where his right hand used to be. Barret is hot-tempered and loud, but he has a deep sense of responsibility for his daughter and for the planet. His gun arm rattles slightly as he gestures, always ready for a fight. Cloud joins Barret and the rest of Avalanche on a daring raid. Their goal is to blow up Mako Reactor Number 1, one of the massive power plants sucking the planet dry. As they infiltrate the reactor, the tension is high. Cloud remains calm and professional, taking out Shinra guards with quick, precise movements. He doesn't talk much, but his skills are sharp, too sharp for just a simple mercenary. Barret keeps barking orders and arguing with Cloud, suspicious of his aloofness. Alongside them are a few other Avalanche members, like Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, who clearly look up to Cloud's strength. Inside the reactor, the group sees the core, a glowing, swirling mass of Mako energy, the planet's very life force. The sight is hauntingly beautiful, yet feels wrong. It's like looking into the soul of the planet being drained away. Cloud plants the bomb without hesitation. But as the bomb is set, something strange happens. For a brief moment, Cloud hears a voice, soft, feminine, almost like a whisper in his mind. It tells him to be careful. He shakes it off, unsure of what it was. The bomb explodes. The ground trembles, the core shatters, and a huge plume of green energy rushes outward. The group barely escapes, racing through collapsing tunnels, fighting off Shinra soldiers. The whole sector shakes as the reactor falls into ruin, another wound on the dying planet. They manage to reach the train platform and hop onto a departing train just in time. As they ride away, Midgar stretches endlessly in every direction, a metal city sucking the life from the planet. Barret stares out at the view, his face filled with anger. He tells Cloud that the planet is crying out in pain. But Cloud, detached as ever, says it's just a job. He wants his payment. Barret looks frustrated, but he lets it go for now. Cloud seems like someone who doesn't believe in anything. Not the planet, not Avalanche's cause. He's just in it for the money. But behind those glowing blue eyes, there's more than even he realizes. As the train rattles deeper into Midgar, the scene shifts once more. Somewhere high in the Shinra building, the corporation's executives calmly discuss the bombing. They dismiss Avalanche as insignificant, but in the shadows of their words, you can sense a far bigger story beginning to unfold. Cloud thinks he's just a mercenary, but this mission will lead him to truths buried deep in his past, to friendships he didn't expect, to love, and to unimaginable loss. And beyond it all, in the darkness, there is another presence watching, waiting. For now, the train continues its journey, and the city of Midgar sleeps under the glow of stolen life. The train rattles through the underbelly of Midgar, its dim lights flickering as it passes through the city's lower sectors. Inside one of the cars, the mood is tense. Barret paces back and forth, his mechanical gun arm tapping against the walls, while Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse exchange relieved smiles after their narrow escape. Cloud sits quietly, leaning back against the seat. His spiky blonde hair catches the faint glow of the train lights, and his glowing Mako eyes stare blankly ahead. He is detached, as if what they just did, blowing up a massive power reactor, meant nothing to him. Jessie, who secretly admires Cloud, tries to break the silence. She explains how the ID scanner system on the train works, and how the Shinra security checks every passenger. Cloud listens but doesn't respond much. Barret interrupts, lecturing everyone about the importance of saving the planet. He's loud, passionate, almost like a preacher. He says the planet's dying screams can be heard if you listen closely. But Cloud shrugs it off. When the train finally reaches the slums of Sector 7, the group disembarks. The Sector 7 slums are a world of their own. Dark, patched together with scrap metal and flickering neon lights. Children run barefoot on dusty streets, while shopkeepers try to sell whatever they can find. Above them looms the massive upper plate of Midgar, blocking out the natural sky. No stars are visible, only the eerie green glow of the reactors. They arrive at the entrance of Seventh Heaven, a small bar that also serves as Avalanche's secret hideout. The wooden door creaks open, and a warm light spills out into the night. Inside, the atmosphere is cozier than the harsh streets outside. There are mismatched tables, a jukebox, and the faint smell of food cooking. Behind the bar stands Tifa Lockhart. Tifa is a young woman, with long, dark brown hair tied with a white ribbon, and gentle, soulful brown eyes. She wears a simple white tank top, a black miniskirt, and gloves that hint she's no stranger to fighting. Tifa is kind-hearted and warm, but there's a quiet strength in her posture, a confidence that makes you feel safe. When she sees Cloud, Her expression softens with familiarity. They share a past, one Cloud barely remembers, but for Tifa, it's clear and important. She smiles gently and says his name. Cloud nods slightly, his usual distant expression softening for just a moment. Barret, meanwhile, rushes past and greets a little girl who runs into his arms. This is Marlene, his adoptive daughter. Despite his fierce exterior, Barret holds her with tenderness, showing the side of him that fights not just for the planet, but for her future. After the group settles, Cloud sits at the bar while Tifa pours him a drink. She tries to talk to him about why he came back to Midgar, why he joined this dangerous cause. He says simply that it's for the money. But when she gently reminds him of a promise he made long ago, that if she was ever in trouble, he'd come to protect her, something flickers in his mind. A faint memory. A night under the stars in their hometown of Nibelheim, where a young Tifa looked up at the sky and asked him to be her hero. Cloud doesn't say much, but the memory lingers like a soft echo in his heart. Later, in the hidden back room of the bar, the Avalanche members gather around a table covered with maps and notes. Barret explains the next mission, another reactor bombing. He's determined, believing that each reactor destroyed slows Shinra's destruction of the planet. Cloud listens quietly, but this time, Tifa voices her worries. She asks if there's another way. She fears for the people who will get hurt, for the lives they're affecting. She doesn't want Cloud to put himself in danger either. But Barret insists they have no choice. Shinra won't stop unless someone forces them to. Cloud agrees to join the mission, though again he says it's only for the payment. Tifa looks into his glowing eyes, searching for the boy she once knew, and wonders if he's still in there. Meanwhile, far above them in the Shinra headquarters, executives discuss Avalanche's actions. The president of Shinra himself, a cold and calculating man, decides that the small rebel group is more of a nuisance than a threat. But another man at the table listens quietly, Heidegger, head of Shinra's security. And beyond him, in the shadows, a much more dangerous presence begins to stir. The next day, the team sets out for Mako Reactor number 5. Jesse gives Cloud a fake ID to pass through Shinra's security on the train. But something goes wrong. As the train heads toward the reactor, alarms blare. The ID scanner detects unauthorized passengers. Red emergency lights flash, and an announcement warns that security forces are approaching. Barret shouts for everyone to move, and the group runs through the train cars as Shinra soldiers close in. Finally, with no choice, they leap off the speeding train and into the darkness of the Sector 4 railway tunnels. The journey to Reactor number 5 is more dangerous than the last. The tunnels are filled with Shinra patrols, security robots, and swarms of creatures that lurk in the abandoned parts of the city. Cloud fights alongside Tifa and Barret, his sword flashing through the dim light, Tifa's martial arts swift and precise, and Barret's gun arm roaring with fire. They reach the core of the second reactor and plant another bomb. But as they escape, something unexpected happens. Cloud begins to hear that same mysterious voice again, whispering inside his mind. He sees a flash, an image of a beautiful white-haired woman in a tranquil setting, calling to him. His vision blurs, his head pounds. Before he can make sense of it, Shinra ambushes them. Soldiers surround the group, forcing them onto a massive suspension bridge. And there, waiting, is someone new. A cool, calm voice greets them. This is Reno, a laid-back but dangerous operative of the Turks, Shinra's covert special unit. He carries an electrified baton and a smirk. Reno explains that Shinra had expected them all along. As the group fights, Reno activates a trap, a bomb that detonates part of the bridge. Cloud and the others barely escape, but they know now that Shinra is taking them seriously. Meanwhile, back in the Shinra building, the president finalizes his plan to deal with Avalanche once and for all. He will let them run their course, then crush them publicly, using the full force of Shinra's power. And in his cold, metallic office, the seeds of an even greater tragedy are being planted. For now, Cloud, Tifa, and Barret make their way back toward the slums, unaware of just how far Shinra will go, and how their lives are about to change forever. The team returns to the Sector 7 slums after barely escaping the ambush at Reactor Number 5. Cloud, Tifa, and Barret are tired, but their relief doesn't last long. Something feels wrong. Shinra is retaliating. That night, the slums are unusually quiet. Children are inside, shopkeepers close their stalls early, and an eerie tension hangs in the air. At 7th Heaven, Tifa tries to keep a sense of normalcy, pouring drinks and calming nervous residents. Barret tucks little Marlene into bed upstairs, whispering promises that he'll protect her no matter what. But high above them, on the upper plate of Midgar, Shinra's true plan is unfolding. In the Shinra headquarters, executives meet in a cold, metallic room. President Shinra decides that Avalanche will be made an example of. He orders that the entire Sector 7 plate, the colossal metal structure that looms above the slums, be destroyed. The lives of thousands of innocent people will be sacrificed just to crush a small group of rebels. Back at the slums, Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, other members of Avalanche, prepare desperately to defend the Sector 7 support pillar, the massive tower that holds up the plate. They know Shinra is coming. Cloud and Tifa arrive just as the attack begins. Shinra troops swarm the area, helicopters circling overhead, floodlights cutting through the darkness. The support pillar rumbles as explosions rock its base. Biggs is injured but continues fighting. Wedge tries to hold off soldiers from the rooftops. Jesse struggles to hold the line with makeshift explosives. One by one, they are overwhelmed. As Cloud and Tifa rush toward the pillar, Barret shouts at them to find Marlene. He fears she's in danger and begs them to bring her to safety. So Tifa and Cloud race to the slums, weaving through panicked crowds. That's when Cloud meets Aerith again. Aerith is there, selling flowers in the chaos, trying to calm frightened people. She immediately senses Cloud's urgency and asks what's wrong. When he explains Marlene is in danger, Aerith steps forward without hesitation. She offers to find Marlene and keep her safe. Her gentle voice and calm smile reassure him. There's something about her presence, soft yet strong, that feels almost otherworldly. Aerith finds Marlene and takes her to safety, comforting the little girl as the city above begins to crumble. Meanwhile, Cloud rushes back to the support pillar. Barret is at the top, firing his gun arm in all directions, trying to stop the Shinra assault. Wedge falls from a great height, injured beyond help. Biggs is shot, collapsing while still trying to protect the pillar. Jesse, breathless and battered, hands Cloud a handful of explosives and gives him a faint smile before succumbing to her wounds. The climb up the pillar feels endless. Gunfire, explosions, and screams echo through the metal structure. At the top, Cloud and Barret fight side by side, holding off waves of Shinra soldiers. And then, from above, a sleek helicopter descends. Standing inside is Reno, the Turk they fought earlier. His calm, smug voice cuts through the chaos. He activates the final sequence to drop the Sector 7 plate. Barret yells in fury, but there's nothing they can do. In a moment of desperate courage, Cloud and Barret fight their way to Reno. But it's too late. He retreats into the helicopter, leaving the self-destruct system running. Shinra's plan is already in motion. Cloud grabs Tifa's hand. Barret shouts for everyone to run, and they leap from the tower, sliding down a cable as the world around them collapses. And then, it happens. The massive plate of Sector 7 groans and tears free from its supports. With an earth-shaking roar, it falls. Metal screams as it crashes down, crushing the entire slum beneath. Dust and debris rise like a monstrous wave, engulfing everything. Countless lives are lost in an instant. Cloud, Tifa, and Barret land safely, but watch in horror as the place they called home is destroyed. Barret drops to his knees, thinking of Marlene, thinking she's gone. Tifa's eyes fill with tears as she sees the ruin of everything she tried to protect. And then, Aerith appears. She stands among the frightened survivors holding Marlene's hand. Somehow she found the child and brought her to safety. Barret, overcome with relief, scoops Marlene up in his arms, tears streaming down his face. Aerith, however, doesn't get a moment of peace. From the shadows, Sang, another Turk, appears. He's calm, calculating, and not as playful as Reno. He takes Aerith into Shinra custody. She doesn't fight. Instead, she looks at Cloud with soft, knowing eyes. She tells him not to worry, to take care of Marlene. Before Cloud can react, Sang and his team take Aerith away in a helicopter, vanishing into the night sky. Barret is left kneeling in the rubble of Sector 7, holding his daughter close. His voice shakes with rage and grief. He swears vengeance against Shinra. Cloud looks up at the towering Shinra headquarters in the distance, his jaw tightening. For the first time, he feels a flicker of something beyond indifference. They all know they can't stay in the shadows anymore. If they want answers and justice, they have to go straight into the lion's den. The next day, with the slums still covered in dust and ashes, Cloud, Tifa, and Barret prepare to infiltrate the heart of Midgar, Shinra Tower, where Aerith is being held. And high above in that cold skyscraper, a new presence stirs. A name whispered only in rumors is about to be spoken again. Sephiroth. The Sector 7 slums lie in ruins, the air heavy with dust and grief. Survivors wander aimlessly, searching for loved ones, while others sit in silence, stunned by the destruction. The echoes of Shinra's cruelty hang over everything. In the quiet aftermath, Cloud, Tifa, and Barret regroup. Barret holds Marlene close, relieved she's safe, but burning with anger at what Shinra has done. Tifa, soft-spoken but firm, insists they must save Aerith, who risked everything to protect Marlene. Cloud stands apart, staring at the distant Shinra headquarters. The massive skyscraper looms in the center of Midgar, a monument to corporate greed. Inside that tower, Aerith is now a prisoner. Cloud says they'll go after her, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because something about Aerith unsettled him, something he doesn't fully understand. The trio begins their dangerous journey through Midgar's upper levels. They weave through dim backstreets and hidden maintenance paths, eventually reaching Wall Market, a lively, yet grimy district controlled by a man named Don Corneo. Corneo is a lecherous, round man with a sly grin. His mansion is filled with strange decorations and hired goons. Tifa has already gone there on her own. Suspecting Corneo has information about Shinra's plans, Cloud and Aerith, who they manage to meet again briefly in this district before she is taken, end up joining her, leading to an unusual, almost comical scenario. To get inside Corneo's mansion, Cloud is convinced by Aerith and Tifa to dress as a woman, disguising himself to enter Corneo's bride selection. In a light-hearted moment amidst the chaos, Cloud awkwardly dons a dress, wig, and makeup, and though he's embarrassed, Aerith's laughter lightens the mood. For a brief time, the tension fades. Inside Corneo's mansion, the three confront him. Corneo reveals Shinra's horrifying plan: to drop the Sector 7 plate, killing everyone below, just to crush Avalanche. Though they already witnessed it, hearing it confirmed fills them with rage. But before they can act, Corneo triggers a trapdoor. They fall into the sewers below Midgar, forced to fight a monstrous creature lurking in the filth. With Cloud's sword, Tifa's swift martial arts, and Aerith's strange yet gentle magic, they defeat the beast and escape back to the surface. But it's too late. By the time they return to the support pillar, Shinra's plan is already in motion. The Sector 7 plate is dropped, killing thousands. Aerith, in a moment of bravery, saves Marlene from the chaos, but is captured by Tsing and the Turks. After the devastation, only one thought remains. Aerith is in Shinra headquarters, and they must rescue her. So, Cloud, Tifa, and Barret prepare for their most dangerous mission yet, storming the massive Shinra Tower. The journey to Shinra HQ is long and grueling. The group climbs the endless metal stairways leading up to the building, choosing stealth over a direct assault. It's an exhausting climb. Dozens upon dozens of flights of stairs in eerie silence, only the faint hum of the city echoing below. Finally, they reach the front entrance of the Shinra headquarters, a towering fortress of glass and steel. The lobby is eerily quiet, guarded by Shinra soldiers and security drones. As they sneak inside, they find glimpses of the corporation's dark operations. Labs, offices, and chambers filled with Mako energy experiments. In the upper floors, they discover a laboratory where Shinra's twisted scientist Hojo conducts inhumane research. Hojo is thin, with slick-back hair and small, calculating eyes. He speaks coldly, like a man who sees people only as test subjects. It's in Hojo's lab that they meet a new companion. Locked inside a containment pod is a strange, feline-like creature with red fur, sharp yellow eyes, and a burning intelligence. This is Red 13, though he later reveals his true name as Nanaki. He speaks with calm dignity, surprising everyone. Despite his beastly appearance, he's wise and noble. Hojo planned to experiment on Aerith and Red 13, breeding them to see what would happen to their unique genetic traits. Horrified by this revelation, Cloud, Tifa, and Barret free Red 13, who immediately joins their cause, eager to escape the scientist's cruelty. But as they rescue Aerith from her glass cell, something strange happens. Cloud begins to feel dizzy. A voice whispers in his mind. He sees flashes, white feathers, an empty village burning, and a figure with long silver hair. He hears a name, Sephiroth. When Cloud asks Aerith if she knows what's happening, she explains that she is the last of the Cetra, an ancient race deeply connected to the planet. Shinra wants to use her to find something called the Promised Land, a mythical place of endless Mako energy. But Sephiroth, that name feels like more than just a memory. It feels like a ghost from Cloud's own past. Before they can escape, the group is captured by Shinra's soldiers. They are thrown into holding cells overnight, awaiting the president's decision. But when they awaken, something has changed. The alarms are blaring. The smell of blood fills the air. The guards are gone. The halls are silent except for the distant hum of machinery. When they leave their cells, they find something horrifying. Shinra headquarters is drenched in crimson. Soldiers lie dead. Trails of blood lead through the corridors. And then they see it. President Shinra impaled through his desk by a massive sword. That sword is like nothing they've seen before. Long, sleek, impossibly sharp. It is the Masamune, Sephiroth's blade. And so the whispers become real. Sephiroth is alive. The Shinra headquarters is silent, except for the low hum of machinery and the faint flicker of emergency lights. Cloud, Tifa, Barret, Aerith, and Red 13 move cautiously through the corridors, following the trail of destruction. Blood smears the walls, and the bodies of Shinra soldiers lie twisted and lifeless. They finally reach the president's office, high above the city. There, in the dim glow of the office lights, they see him. President Shinra, the man who ordered the Sector 7 plate drop, now slumped over his desk with a massive blade piercing his back. The sword is impossibly long and elegant, gleaming even in the gloom. Cloud recognizes it instantly, the Masamune. Only one person could wield such a weapon. Sephiroth. Cloud freezes. His mind flashes to fragments of memories he can't fully grasp. A village in flames. The same silver-haired figure walking through the fire, cold and unstoppable. His breathing grows heavy. Sephiroth was supposed to be dead. Before anyone can process what they're seeing, The elevator doors behind them open. A young man steps out, dressed sharply in a white coat with gold trim, his blonde hair slicked back. His face is calm, almost smug. This is Rufus Shinra, the president's son, and now the new head of the corporation. Rufus looks at the body of his father without a flicker of emotion. He turns his cool blue eyes to Cloud and the others. He explains his vision for Shinra, harsher, more ruthless than his father's. Where President Shinra ruled with fear of the company's power, Rufus says he will rule through money and control, exploiting people's greed rather than fear. Cloud steps forward. He can't let this man continue what his father started. He challenges Rufus. The others evacuate. Tifa, Aerith, Barret, and Red 13 take the stairs down to the building's lower levels, while Cloud stays behind to face Rufus on the rooftop. Outside, the Midgar skyline stretches endlessly, the city bathed in artificial green glow. Rufus smirks and pulls out his sleek shotgun, while his personal guard, a fierce, black, panther-like beast named Dark Nation, snarls at his side. The battle is swift but tense. Cloud dodges Rufus's precise gunfire, his massive sword clashing against Dark Nation's attacks. With calculated movements, Cloud overpowers them. Rufus retreats, boarding a helicopter waiting on the rooftop. As the blades spin and lift him into the night, he calls out to Cloud, "We'll meet again." Down below, the rest of the group encounters Shinra's new military weapon, the motorball. A massive rolling machine armed with flamethrowers and saw blades. Barret's gun roars. Tifa's fists strike like lightning, and Red 13 leaps gracefully to attack. Together, they destroy the machine. Finally, they regroup with Cloud on the ground floor. As they step outside Shinra headquarters, the city of Midgar stretches out before them, vast and suffocating. They've learned that Sephiroth is alive, and that he killed President Shinra. Aerith explains more about the Cetra, her ancient people. She says Sephiroth is likely seeking the Promised Land, a place of ultimate power. Shinra wants it for profit. But Sephiroth wants something far worse. Something tied to his own twisted past. Barret clenches his fists. For him, Sephiroth is just another enemy who needs to be stopped. But for Cloud, it's personal. Sephiroth isn't just an enemy. He's the ghost of everything Cloud doesn't understand about himself. And so, they make a choice. They leave Midgar. For the first time, Cloud and the others step beyond the endless metal walls and into the wider world. Green fields stretch into the distance, a sharp contrast to the darkness of the city. The sun is brighter here, the air cleaner. It feels like the beginning of something new. They head toward the small town of Calm, where they rest at an inn. There, in a quiet room lit by soft candlelight, Tifa gently asks Cloud to explain his connection to Sephiroth. Cloud sits silently for a moment. His glowing blue eyes look distant, as if he's staring into the past. Then, slowly, he begins to tell his story. He speaks of their hometown, Nibelheim, years ago. He remembers being a young soldier, assigned to a mission with Sephiroth, who was a hero to everyone. Sephiroth was calm, composed, and impossibly strong. People admired him, worshipped him even. Cloud wanted to be like him. He describes arriving at the Nibelheim reactor, the strange feeling of unease in the air, the locals whispering about monsters. And he recalls Sephiroth standing there, looking at the tanks of twisted creatures, failed experiments made from human subjects. Something inside Sephiroth changed that day. He began to question his existence, to search for his origins. He locked himself in the mansion at the edge of the town, reading forbidden research documents. Cloud remembers the silence, the feeling that something was unraveling. And then, Sephiroth emerged, no longer the calm hero everyone admired. His silver hair shimmered like steel as he walked through Nibelheim, setting it ablaze. The town burned in a sea of fire as he left for the mountains, heading toward the reactor with a cold, terrifying purpose. Cloud's voice trembles slightly as he remembers. The flames, the screams, and Sephiroth's glowing green eyes staring back at him. It was the day everything changed. Cloud stops his story there, unable to say more. The room is silent. Tifa looks down, remembering her own pain from that day. Aerith listens quietly, sensing that this story is only the beginning. They all know now. Sephiroth isn't just alive, he's planning something far worse than Shinra ever could. And if they want to stop him, they'll have to leave the safety of the towns and face the world beyond, where Sephiroth is already moving toward his goal. Outside the inn, the wind blows gently over the open fields. The world feels wide and uncertain, filled with secrets and danger waiting to be uncovered, equal forth abhors. The inn at calm is quiet, the soft flicker of candlelight casting gentle shadows on the walls. Cloud sits still, his voice calm but heavy with memory. Tifa listens intently, her hands folded in her lap. Aerith and Barret remain silent, sensing this is more than just a story. It's a piece of who Cloud is. Cloud continues his tale. Years ago, he had just been promoted to soldier, a part of Shinra's elite military force. Back then, Sephiroth was a living legend. To the world, Sephiroth was the strongest soldier ever created, a hero who single-handedly ended wars, a man whose presence alone inspired awe. Young Cloud admired him. He wanted to prove himself, to stand beside the man everyone called a hero. The mission was simple: investigate the malfunctioning Mako reactor near their hometown of Nibelheim. Alongside Sephiroth, Cloud traveled with a small team, including another soldier named Zack Fair, who was friendly and charismatic. When they arrived in Nibelheim, everything felt strange to Cloud. The familiar streets of his childhood looked different, almost distant. Tifa, still a teenager back then, guided Sephiroth and the team to the reactor as their mountain guide. Cloud remembers watching Sephiroth closely during the journey. Sephiroth didn't speak much. He always had an air of calm detachment, as if he was above everything around him. But there was a strange kindness in him too, especially toward the locals, who were in awe of his presence. When they finally reached the reactor deep in the mountains, the truth began to unravel. Inside the reactor, they discovered tanks filled with monstrous creatures, twisted, deformed beings that were once human. Sephiroth stared at them, his normally composed expression faltering. He muttered to himself, questioning what these things were. And then he saw it, a chamber labeled Genova. Behind the glass was a strange, otherworldly figure, part human, part alien, with pale skin and lifeless eyes. Cloud didn't understand what Sephiroth meant, but from that moment on, Sephiroth became distant. He locked himself away in the Shinra mansion, an old building at the edge of town, where Shinra had stored their research files. For days, Sephiroth read ancient documents, piecing together forbidden truths about Shinra, about the Cetra, and about himself. Cloud recalls how he found Sephiroth in the mansion library, surrounded by dusty books and scattered papers. Sephiroth's silver hair glimmered faintly in the dim light as he turned to Cloud with a hollow expression. "The Cetra were the true ancestors of this planet," Sephiroth said softly, "but they were betrayed by humans, by us, and my mother, Genova, was the last of them." Cloud didn't know what to say. Something was wrong. Sephiroth's calm demeanor was cracking, replaced by something colder, sharper. Sephiroth continued reading day and night, his voice growing more unsteady each time Cloud saw him. He began to speak of the Promised Land, a paradise the Cetra were destined to find. He claimed that the planet had been stolen from Jenova and her kind. And then, one night, Sephiroth snapped. Cloud remembers the smell of smoke. He remembers stepping outside and seeing Nibelheim burning. Houses collapsed in flames, screams echoed in the distance, and people ran in terror. In the center of the chaos stood Sephiroth. His long silver hair flowed in the firelight, his glowing green eyes empty of mercy. He walked calmly through the flames, his sword glinting. He didn't just burn the town. He killed everyone who stood in his way. Cloud's voice grows quieter as he speaks, the memory still vivid. He remembers chasing Sephiroth up the mountain to the reactor, desperate to stop him. Inside the reactor, Sephiroth stood before the chamber of Jenova, his expression unreadable. He turned to Cloud and spoke in a voice filled with eerie calm. "I am the chosen one," Sephiroth said. "I will reclaim this planet for my mother." And with that, he sliced through the reactor machinery with effortless precision. Sparks flew, and the chamber cracked open, revealing Jenova's strange alien body. Cloud remembers running at Sephiroth, sword in hand, but the memory after that blurs. There's pain, confusion, and then darkness. When he came to, Sephiroth was gone. He had disappeared, taking Jenova's head with him, leaving the ruined village behind. Cloud stops speaking. In the room at calm, everyone sits silently. Tifa looks down, her face pale. She was there too. She saw Nibelheim burn with her own eyes. She knows there are parts of this story Cloud isn't saying, or maybe doesn't remember. Aerith finally breaks the silence. She explains softly that Jenova is not truly a Cetra. It's something else entirely, an ancient calamity from the sky that tried to take the planet long ago. The Cetra fought it, sealing it away. Shinra lied to Sephiroth, letting him believe Jenova was his mother. Sephiroth learned half-truths, twisted them, and now believes he's destined to lead Jenova's will to the promised land. Barret clenches his fists. "So, he's just another Shinra experiment gone wrong?" he mutters. But Cloud shakes his head. Sephiroth isn't just another experiment. He's stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than anyone they've ever faced. And now Sephiroth is out there, alive, and moving towards something. The group agrees they must follow him. If they don't, the planet itself may be in danger. The next morning, they leave calm and step into the wider world beyond Midgar. Fields stretch endlessly, with mountains in the distance and forests swaying in the breeze. For the first time, they feel the freedom of the open land. But freedom doesn't last long. Sephiroth has already left a trail of destruction. Everywhere they go, they find signs of him. Shinra soldiers dead, strange monsters appearing, and whispers of a silver-haired man. Their journey has only just begun. The open world feels strange after the suffocating steel walls of Midgar. Fields stretch out endlessly, dotted with trees that sway in the wind. Rivers glisten in the sunlight, and distant mountains cast long shadows. For the first time, the group feels the weight of just how vast the planet truly is. But there is no peace in this freedom. Sephiroth is out there, moving quickly, leaving behind whispers of fear. Everywhere the group goes, they hear rumors of a silver-haired man cutting through Shinra troops and leaving destruction in his wake. They pass through small towns and quiet villages. In one place, they find a frightened Shinra soldier who mutters about a man with eyes like a demon who slaughtered his entire unit. In another, they see signs of something unnatural. Creatures with strange black cloaks wandering aimlessly, mumbling numbers under their breath. Aerith grows uneasy. She can feel Sephiroth's presence like a distant echo in her soul. As they travel, their bond strengthens. Tifa tries to keep everyone's spirits up, quietly watching over Cloud. Barret stays focused, his anger toward Shinra still burning. Aerith brings moments of lightness, her gentle smile easing the group's tension. And, Red 13, calm and wise, offers thoughtful words that make Cloud think more deeply about the planet and its pain. One night while camping near a quiet forest, something unexpected happens. A figure sneaks into their camp, nimble and quick. Before anyone can react, their supplies are stolen. Materia, potions, gil. The thief darts away into the trees with surprising speed. Cloud and the others chase her down, weaving through the shadows of the forest. Finally, they catch her. A young girl with short black hair, a bright orange headband, and a mischievous grin. She spins a large shuriken on her finger with casual ease. Her name is Yuffie Kisaragi. Yuffie is a ninja from the distant land of Wutai, clever and sly. She claims she's just borrowing their materia, but Cloud quickly sees through her act. She's tough to pin down. Playful one moment, serious the next. After a brief but lively fight, she realizes Cloud's group is strong, stronger than any normal travelers. With a smirk, she offers to join them. "I'm looking for strong allies," she says, "and you're my best chance at finding what I want." Cloud reluctantly agrees, though everyone suspects Yuffie has her own hidden motives. She becomes the newest member of their party, adding her swift ninja skills and sharp humor to the team. The journey continues across rolling plains and dense forests. Eventually, they arrive at a grand structure nestled against the mountains. Fort Condor. Here, they meet villagers resisting Shinra's plans to extract Mako from beneath the fort. The villagers are defending a massive condor that nests atop the fort, a symbol of life and resistance. Shinra wants the reactor below, but the villagers fight back. Cloud and his group help them hold off Shinra forces, defending the fort and saving the condor's egg. It's a small victory, but it feels meaningful, proof that not all battles are lost. Leaving Fort Condor, the group follows the trail of Sephiroth again. Rumors lead them to Junon, a massive coastal city dominated by Shinra's military. Junon is a city of contrasts. The lower town is dark and impoverished, while the upper city sits high on metal platforms, rich and fortified. As they arrive, they witness something horrifying. Shinra soldiers herding people to the lower levels in preparation for a military parade. But before they can blend in, they hear a strange cry. A girl in the lower village is screaming. They rush to help and find something enormous rising from the sea, a gigantic, serpent-like creature. A weapon. One of the planet's ancient defenders, awakened by the chaos in the world. The beast lashes out at the shore, threatening to destroy everything. Cloud and the others fight bravely, but the creature is massive, more powerful than anything they've faced. Just when it seems hopeless, Shinra's massive sister ray cannon fires from Junon's upper level, driving the creature back into the ocean. As the smoke clears, the group realizes Sephiroth's actions are awakening the planet's ancient guardians. At Junon, they also meet a new companion. A small, animated robotic cat sitting atop a giant, stuffed Moogle doll. It introduces itself in a cheerful, almost comical tone as Kate Sith. Kate Sith claims to be a fortune teller and insists on joining their journey. Though playful and silly, there's something suspicious about this strange creature. It feels like it's hiding more than it says. With Yuffie and Kate Sith now part of the group, the journey grows larger, more unpredictable. After leaving Junon, they board a Shinra cargo ship bound for the western continent, following another lead on Sephiroth's trail. The ship is dark and cramped, filled with Shinra troops transporting supplies. The group hides among the crates, staying out of sight. But in the middle of the night, the ship goes silent. A chilling feeling spreads through the air. There's a low hum, almost like the sound of something breathing. When they step onto the deck, they see Shinra soldiers lying lifeless, their bodies cut cleanly by something impossibly fast. And then they see it. On the steel floor of the ship lies another trail of blood leading to the cargo hold. They follow it, the tension thick. Inside the hold, they find it, a piece of Genova. It pulses with an eerie, alien glow. Before they can react, it moves. A fragment of Genova comes to life, transforming into a monstrous form with tentacles and glistening eyes. Cloud grips his sword tightly. Aerith gasps, feeling a wave of energy, familiar, terrifying. The group battles Genova's fragment in a desperate fight on the rocking ship. The creature's attacks are fast and alien, but together they strike it down. As it collapses, the creature dissolves into a strange, glowing liquid, leaving behind only a single black feather. Cloud stands in the silence, staring at it. Sephiroth is always ahead of them, always moving, always leaving these pieces of Genova behind. And in his mind, Cloud hears a whisper. "I'm waiting, at the promised land." The ship finally reaches the western continent. The air feels heavier here, the land unfamiliar. Sephiroth's trail leads deeper into mystery, and the planet seems to be crying louder with each step. Their journey is far from over. The cargo ship docks on the western continent, and the group steps onto new soil. The air feels different here, warmer, saltier, touched by the ocean breeze. They've survived the eerie encounter with Genova on the ship, but Sephiroth is still ahead, leaving only cryptic messages and fragments of fear behind. Their first stop is the sunny coastal town of Costa del Sol, a sharp contrast to everything they've seen so far. Bright white buildings line the shore, palm trees sway in the warm breeze, and beachgoers relax by the sparkling blue water. It almost feels like a vacation spot rather than a world in danger. For a brief moment, the group rests. Barret reluctantly removes his heavy gear to relax under an umbrella. Tifa and Aerith laugh together as they dip their feet into the water. Yuffie sneaks off to explore, undoubtedly looking for opportunities to swipe more materia. Even Red 13 lies in the shade, pretending he's not enjoying it. But Cloud doesn't truly relax. His mind is still focused on Sephiroth. Even in a place so calm, he feels a shadow lingering just beyond sight. After leaving Costa del Sol, they travel inland to the desert region of Corel. The heat is harsh, the land dry and cracked. Along the way, they meet people living in poverty, displaced by Shinra's greed. Barret grows quiet here. This is his home. In a somber tone, Barret tells his story. Corel was once a peaceful coal mining town. When Shinra came offering prosperity through Mako energy, some resisted, but Barret believed Shinra's promises. He convinced the townspeople to build a reactor, but Shinra betrayed them. When an accident occurred, they blamed the people, burned Corel to the ground, and killed anyone who resisted. In the chaos, Barret lost his best friend, Dine, and believed his daughter Marlene's mother was killed too. Barret looks down at his gun arm, his voice heavy. This is all I got left, he says. His rage toward Shinra is deeper than anyone knew, not just for the planet, but for everything they took from him. The group moves on, eventually arriving at a strange, glittering place in the middle of the desert, the Gold Saucer. Gold Saucer is an enormous amusement park, built high above the wastelands. Bright neon lights flash everywhere. There are roller coasters, arcade games, battle arenas, and music playing in every corner. It's overwhelming, colorful, and strangely hollow beneath all the fun. As they explore, the group enters the battle square, an arena where fighters from across the land compete. There, they hear rumors of a legendary pilot who once dreamed of going to space, but was forced to give up his dream because of Shinra's cutbacks. They eventually travel to Rocket Town, a small settlement dominated by a massive, rusting rocket standing upright, never launched. Here they meet Sid Highwind. Sid is a rough, brash man with short blonde hair, a cigarette dangling from his mouth, and a constant scowl. He curses a lot, but beneath his gruff exterior is a man with a broken dream. Sid was once the top pilot for Shinra's space program. He poured his life into building a rocket that would take him to the stars. But at the last moment, he aborted the launch to save his assistant Shara, who would have died in the process. Shinra abandoned the program, leaving Sid stranded with his regrets and a rusting rocket that stands as a reminder of what he lost. When the group meets him, Sid is bitter but still full of fight. He tells them how Shinra has been pressuring him to give up his land for their new plans. He clearly despises the company, but feels powerless against them. Cloud explains their mission to stop Sephiroth and protect the planet. Sid listens silently, then with a smirk says, "Fine, I'll help. I don't got much else to lose." With Sid, they gain a skilled pilot and a man who understands machines better than anyone. His airship isn't ready yet, but his presence adds a new kind of energy to the team. Tough, sharp, and driven. Before leaving Rocket Town, they catch another glimpse of Sephiroth's influence. Shinra troops stationed there are found dead, cut cleanly by a single blade. It's a silent warning. Sephiroth has passed through. The group continues their journey, traveling by buggy across deserts and valleys, climbing cliffs and venturing into caves. Along the way, they see more of the strange black-robed figures, people muttering numbers, drawn toward some unseen force. Aerith begins to sense something growing stronger. The planet's cries are louder here, the life stream agitated. She knows Sephiroth is drawing closer to something powerful, and it terrifies her. Finally, their journey leads them to the mountain village of Gungaga, where they find another shattered reactor. There, they encounter the Turks again, Reno, Rude, and Elena. The Turks confirm Sephiroth has been through this way, but even they seem shaken. Reno's usual smugness is gone. He admits Sephiroth isn't someone Shinra can control anymore. And in Gungaga, Aerith learns something personal. She sees a flower on a grave and realizes this was once the home of Zack Fair, the soldier who cared for her in the past. She doesn't say much, but her eyes soften with a distant sadness. The group leaves Gungaga, each carrying heavier thoughts. Soon, they approach the ancient forests that lead toward Cosmo Canyon, a place Red 13 calls home. The canyon is sacred, a place of deep connection to the planet. Red 13 says they may find answers there, not just about Sephiroth, but about the planet's voice itself. And so they press on, toward the next chapter of their journey. The group approaches Cosmo Canyon, a breathtaking place built into towering red cliffs. As they climb the winding path toward the village, the sun casts a warm glow over the canyon walls. There's a serene feeling here, unlike anywhere they've been before. Cosmo Canyon is a sacred place. It is where people come to learn about the planet, the life stream, and the cycle of life. It is also Red 13's home. As they enter, Red 13 is greeted with respect by the villagers. They call him by his true name, Nanaki. Here, Cloud and the others see a different side of him. Though he appears beast-like, Nanaki is deeply tied to the wisdom of his people. They meet Bugenhagen, an elderly man who serves as Cosmo Canyon's wise sage. He floats around with the aid of a small levitating device, his long beard flowing like the canyon winds. Bugenhagen is cheerful but deeply insightful, someone who seems to understand the mysteries of the planet. He welcomes Cloud and the group, sensing the heavy energy they carry. Bugenhagen takes them into an observatory built into the canyon cliffs. Inside, he shows them a projection of the life stream, a glowing, swirling river of green light that flows beneath the planet's surface. The planet, Bugenhagen explains, is alive. The life stream is its blood, carrying the memories and energy of all who lived. When people die, their energy returns to the planet, becoming part of this great cycle. But when the planet is hurt, it cries out. He tells them Sephiroth is trying to use the planet's own power for something catastrophic. If Sephiroth summons a great wound upon the planet, the lifestream will rush to heal it. At that moment, Sephiroth could absorb all that power and become a godlike being. Aerith listens closely, her green eyes reflecting the glow of the projection. Being a Cetra, she feels the planet's pain more than anyone. She knows Sephiroth's plan is real and dangerous. While in Cosmo Canyon, Red 13 also learns the truth about his father. He always believed his father was a coward who abandoned their village long ago. But Bugenhagen takes him to a hidden chamber in the canyon where the truth is revealed. Nanaki sees the petrified body of his father Seto turned to stone while defending the village from an ancient attack. Tears well in Nanaki's eyes as he realizes his father died a hero, standing until his last breath to protect his people. It's a quiet, emotional moment, showing that even the proudest hearts can carry deep misunderstandings. The group leaves Cosmo Canyon with a renewed sense of purpose. They now understand more clearly what's at stake. Sephiroth isn't just wandering aimlessly. He's heading toward a specific goal, a place of ancient power. Their journey continues through forests and mountain passes, leading them toward Nibelheim, Cloud's hometown, the place Sephiroth burned years ago. But when they arrive, something is wrong. Nibelheim is standing. The village looks perfectly normal, as if it was never destroyed. The houses are intact. People walk the streets calmly, smiling like nothing ever happened. Cloud is shaken. He remembers this place in flames, remembers the screams, remembers Sephiroth cutting down everything in his path. He confronts the villagers, but they all give strange, rehearsed answers. They insist nothing happened here. No fire, no Sephiroth, no destruction. It's as if the entire town is an illusion. Inside the Shinra mansion, Cloud finds more clues. Fragments of Sephiroth's writings, and a strange underground laboratory. Deep below the mansion, he discovers more of those black-robed figures, the numbered people, moving like lifeless puppets. They all whisper the same thing: reunion, reunion. It's chilling. At the very bottom of the mansion's hidden chamber, they find another piece of Genova, pulsing and alive. And once again, Sephiroth appears, not in full body, but like a vision. His long silver hair flowing, his cold green eyes staring straight into Cloud's soul. "Come, Cloud." Sephiroth's voice echoes. The reunion is near. Cloud grips his head, his memories blurring and twisting. He tries to strike Sephiroth, but the figure vanishes, leaving only another monstrous fragment of Genova behind. The group fights the Genova creature, defeating it, but the questions linger. What is the reunion? What is Sephiroth truly planning? From Nibelheim, Sephiroth's trail leads toward an ancient site known as the Temple of the Ancients. This place, Aerith explains, is sacred to the Cetra. It holds deep secrets of the planet, and possibly the key to the Promised Land. On the way, they pass through Gongaga, where Aerith learns more about her past connection to Zack Fair. Though she stays quiet, Cloud notices the faint sadness in her eyes. Finally, they reach the Temple of the Ancients, an enormous stone structure covered in mysterious glyphs. The air is heavy here, almost humming with power. As they approach, Aerith feels something deep in her heart, like the voices of the ancients are calling to her. Inside the temple, puzzles and strange guardians await. The group navigates its winding halls, uncovering more pieces of Sephiroth's plan. At the heart of the temple lies an artifact called the Black Materia, a powerful stone capable of summoning the ultimate spell, Meteor, to wound the planet itself. If Sephiroth obtains the Black Materia, he could call down Meteor, create a massive wound, and then absorb the planet's healing energy to ascend to godhood. But Sephiroth is already ahead of them. He appears in the temple, his presence filling the air with dread. Cloud tries to fight him, but something strange happens. Sephiroth's voice slithers into Cloud's mind, twisting his thoughts. Cloud's body moves on its own. To everyone's horror, Cloud hands Sephiroth the Black Materia. Cloud's glowing eyes are blank, as if he's lost control. He screams in confusion and rage, unable to stop himself. Sephiroth takes the Black Materia and disappears deeper into the temple, leaving the group shaken. Afterward, Cloud collapses. Aerith kneels beside him, gently placing her hand on his shoulder. She tells him softly that it's not his fault. Sephiroth is manipulating him, using some connection from their past. But Cloud can't shake the feeling of guilt. He doesn't understand why he obeyed Sephiroth, why his own mind betrayed him. Aerith stands and looks toward the sky. She knows what she must do. She tells the group she has to go, alone, to find the forgotten capital, where she can pray to the planet for holy, the only spell that can counter Meteor. She believes it's the only way to stop Sephiroth. Cloud tries to stop her, but she smiles, gently. "Trust me," she says. "This is my duty as a Cetra." Before anyone can say more, she slips away into the night, heading toward her destiny. And so the group sets out again. This time, not just to chase Sephiroth, but to find Aerith, before it's too late. The night after the Temple of the Ancients feels heavier than any before. Cloud sits apart from the group, staring at his hands, still shaken from what happened. He can still hear Sephiroth's voice in his head, cold and commanding. He remembers the feeling of his body moving against his will, handing over the Black Materia. Tifa tries to comfort him, but he won't meet her eyes. He feels weak, unsure of who he really is anymore. Barret and Sid exchange worried looks, but say nothing. Aerith is gone. Before anyone could stop her, she slipped away quietly, leaving only a soft smile and a promise that she would stop Sephiroth in her own way. She's heading toward the forgotten capital, a place sacred to the Cetra. Cloud knows they have to follow her, not just to protect her, but because, deep down, he fears what Sephiroth might do if he reaches her first. The journey north takes them through strange lands. They cross snowy fields where the wind howls, and forests where ancient whispers seem to echo between the trees. The closer they get to the forgotten capital, the more the planet feels alive. Aerith's presence lingers in the air, like she's just ahead of them, waiting. Finally, they arrive. The forgotten capital is unlike anything they've ever seen. It's quiet, hauntingly beautiful. Coral-like structures rise from the ground, pale and glistening, shaped like seashells, frozen in time. The city feels empty, but there's a soft hum in the air, like the voices of the ancients are still here. The group moves carefully through the empty streets, their footsteps echoing softly. At the heart of the city lies a great, crystal-clear lake, with a small altar in the center, surrounded by cascading water. The place feels sacred, untouched by time. There, kneeling in prayer at the altar, is Aerith. She is bathed in soft light, her eyes closed, hands clasped gently as she prays. Her pink ribbon flutters slightly in the breeze. There's a calmness in her face, like she's at peace. She's calling on the planet, reaching out to Holy, the only magic that can counter Sephiroth's meteor. Cloud takes a step forward, but suddenly, his vision blurs. Sephiroth's voice slithers into his mind again. "Cloud, do it," the voice whispers. Cloud's body stiffens. He feels his arms moving on their own. His hand grips the hilt of his sword. Slowly, he lifts it above his head, directly over Aerith. Tifa shouts his name. Barret yells for him to stop. Cloud struggles, shaking, trying to resist, but his body doesn't listen. For a terrifying moment, it looks like he will strike her down. Then, at the last second, Cloud screams, forcing his body to stop. He drops the sword, falling to his knees, gasping. But it's too late. Above them, from the shadows, Sephiroth descends. He falls gracefully from the air, his long silver hair glinting, the Masamune sword in his hand. In one silent, fluid motion, Sephiroth drives the blade straight through Aerith from behind. She gasps softly. The light around her flickers. Her prayer stops. Cloud reaches out in slow motion, but it's already over. Sephiroth pulls the blade free, his cold green eyes showing no remorse, no emotion at all. Aerith falls forward, gently, her body sinking into the shallow water around the altar. The music fades to a soft, heartbreaking melody. Cloud steps into the water and catches her before she sinks completely. He lifts her into his arms, cradling her like something fragile. She is still, her green eyes closed, her face serene. The group stands in stunned silence. Even Barret, who has faced death countless times, can't find words. Cloud kneels in the water, holding Aerith close. His voice trembles. She's gone. He feels an emptiness unlike anything before. This isn't just another comrade lost in battle. Aerith was the light in their darkness, the one who smiled even in despair, the one who connected to something deeper than all of them. Above them, Sephiroth hovers briefly, his voice echoing coldly. "You cannot stop me. Holy will never reach the planet in time. Meteor will fall, and I will become a god." Then he vanishes into the shadows, leaving only silence and grief behind. Cloud stays there for a long moment, holding Aerith. The water ripples softly around them. Finally, with great care, he carries her to the lake at the center of the forgotten capital. He lowers her gently into the water. Her body drifts, sinking slowly beneath the crystal surface. The light catches her hair and her pink ribbon as she disappears into the stillness. Flowers seem to bloom briefly beneath the water, as if the planet itself mourns her passing. The group watches silently. Tifa's eyes fill with tears. Red 13 lowers his head. Even Sid, usually brash, says nothing. Cloud clenches his fists. Sephiroth has taken too much already. From this moment on, it's no longer just about stopping Sephiroth's plan. It's personal. Aerith trusted him to protect her, and he failed. As they leave the forgotten capital, the world feels emptier. But in the wind, there's a faint sense that Aerith's prayer was not in vain. that even in death, she set something in motion. The journey continues. Sephiroth must be stopped, Holy must be awakened, the planet must be saved. And Cloud knows the final confrontation is drawing closer. The forgotten capital grows quiet again after Sephiroth disappears. The only sound is the soft trickle of water in the crystal lake. Aerith is gone, and the weight of her loss hangs heavy over everyone. Cloud says nothing as they leave the sacred city. His face is calm, but his eyes are hollow. Tifa stays close, watching him carefully, afraid of what this silence might mean. The world beyond the forgotten capital feels colder. The skies are grayer, the winds sharper. Sephiroth's presence can almost be felt in the air, like a shadow spreading across the planet. They travel north toward the Icicle Inn, a quiet, snowy village on the edge of the frozen continent. The journey is harsh. Snow falls heavily, and icy winds cut through their clothes. As they trudge through the cold, they think of Aerith, her gentle smile, her quiet strength. It feels wrong to go on without her. At Icicle Inn, they uncover more truths. In an abandoned house, Cloud finds old Shinra research videos left by Professor Gast, the man who once studied the Cetra. The videos show a younger Aerith as a child with her mother Ifalna, the last known ancient. Through these recordings, they learn about Jenova, the so-called calamity from the sky. Jenova wasn't a Cetra at all, but an alien life form that fell onto the planet thousands of years ago, infecting and mimicking the Cetra to destroy them. The Cetra fought back and sealed it away, but Shinra misunderstood, or perhaps deliberately twisted, the truth, believing Jenova was the last Cetra. They used its cells in experiments, creating soldiers like Sephiroth. Sephiroth, upon learning half of this truth, believed Jenova was his mother. Now he carries her cells within him, tied to her will, though he also seems to have become something more, something even Jenova can't fully control. Aerith's mother, in the recordings, warns that the Promised Land is not a physical place, but a state of harmony with the planet. Sephiroth's search for it is misguided and dangerous. Cloud's mind grows heavier with every revelation. Pieces of his memory don't fit together. There are gaps he can't explain, feelings he can't name. From Icicle Inn, the group pushes further north, into the frozen wilderness. Snow and ice stretch endlessly in every direction. They climb jagged cliffs and cross vast glaciers. The air grows thinner, and the journey becomes harder. Finally, they reach the Great Glacier and the towering northern crater, a massive scar on the planet where something ancient and terrible struck long ago. The closer they get, the more Cloud feels Sephiroth's pull. His head pounds with whispers, his body trembling as if drawn toward the crater against his will. Inside the crater, the group finds the black robes, those strange, cloaked figures they've seen before. They gather here in silence, muttering, "Reunion, reunion," as they shuffle mindlessly toward the center. And there, within the depths of the crater, they find Sephiroth waiting. The air is heavy with Mako energy. Crystal-like structures glow all around them. It's as if they've stepped into another world entirely, one connected directly to the planet's life force. Sephiroth appears, his presence overwhelming. He speaks calmly, almost like a teacher explaining something to a child. "All beings born from Jenova's cells are drawn to me," he says. "This is the reunion, where we become whole." Cloud steps forward, gritting his teeth. "You're wrong," he says. "I'm nothing like you." But Sephiroth smiles faintly. "Are you sure? Then why do you obey me?" Cloud freezes. His body starts trembling again. His memories blur and twist. Sephiroth gestures toward a strange chamber deep within the crater. Inside is a figure encased in crystal, a body preserved in the planet's wound. Sephiroth tells Cloud that this is his true self, waiting to merge with the planet's energy after meteor strikes. And then, Sephiroth speaks the words that shatter Cloud's fragile sense of self. You were never in Nibelheim. Cloud's mind reels. Sephiroth shows him visions. Tifa in Nibelheim. Zack standing beside Sephiroth during the incident, but not Cloud. In the memory, Cloud is nowhere to be seen. You are just a puppet, Sephiroth says. A copy made from my cells. Your memories? Fabricated. You don't even exist. Cloud falls to his knees, clutching his head. His memories fracture like glass. He sees Zack's face, blurred and unclear. He hears voices he can't recognize. Tifa shouts, telling him not to listen, but Sephiroth's voice drowns everything out. Cloud screams, and in that confusion, Sephiroth manipulates him once again. Cloud, barely conscious of his own actions, hands over the black materia, the key to summoning Meteor. Sephiroth takes it. In the depths of the crater, Sephiroth begins his plan. The black materia glows, sending energy skyward. Across the planet, the sky darkens, as Meteor is called forth, slowly beginning its descent toward the planet. The ground shakes violently. The planet's energy surges, reacting to the wound Sephiroth intends to inflict. The crater begins to collapse. Cloud is lost in his mind, unable to move. Tifa and the others drag him out, as the ground splits beneath them. They barely escape as the northern crater erupts with raw energy. When they finally reach safety, Cloud is gone. Not physically, but mentally. He's broken, silent, unable to speak or look at anyone. Tifa stays by his side, holding his hand. She doesn't know how to fix him, but she won't leave him. Meanwhile, across the planet, Meteor now looms in the sky, a fiery red wound hanging above the world. People everywhere panic as they realize something terrible is coming. The planet's natural guardians, the weapons, begin to awaken, rising from the earth and sea to defend it. Shinra, seeing the chaos, scrambles to respond. Rufus Shinra declares martial law, promising to stop Meteor, but even he doesn't fully understand what they're facing. The world is in turmoil. Sephiroth has begun the final phase of his plan, and Cloud, the one who was supposed to stop him, has fallen into darkness. But Tifa believes there's still hope. She knows Cloud is still in there, buried beneath the lies Sephiroth fed him. She just has to reach him. And so, their journey shifts. Before they can stop Sephiroth, they must first save Cloud from himself. The world is in chaos. Above the skies, Meteor glows like a blood-red wound, slowly descending toward the planet. Its presence alone spreads fear, shaking the hearts of people across every town and city. The planet groans as its natural guardians, the colossal weapons, awaken from deep beneath the earth and sea. Meanwhile, Cloud is lost. After the events at the northern crater, Cloud's mind shattered. Sephiroth's words echo endlessly in his thoughts. You were never in Nibelheim. You're just a puppet. He sits silently, vacant-eyed, unable to speak. The group brings him to Midil, a small village with natural hot springs believed to have healing properties. They place Cloud in the care of the villagers. His body is weak, his mind locked away in a deep fog. Tifa chooses to stay with him, refusing to leave his side. While Cloud is lost, the others continue the fight. Barret, Sid, and the rest try to rally resistance against Shinra and the weapons. Kate Sith, in a rare, serious moment, reveals the truth. He is actually being remotely controlled by Reeve, a Shinra executive who secretly wants to help them. But even as the group works to stop Shinra's reckless attempts to harness the planet's energy, Tifa knows their greatest battle still lies ahead. Sephiroth must be stopped, and Cloud is the only one who can truly face him. One day in Mediel, the ground begins to shake violently. A weapon, awakened by the planet's pain, emerges from the sea and attacks. The entire village quakes as the monstrous creature roars. The group evacuates as the land begins to collapse. In the chaos, Cloud falls from his wheelchair, plunging into a swirling pool of lifestream beneath the town. Tifa doesn't hesitate. She dives in after him. The world fades to white. Tifa finds herself inside Cloud's mind, a strange, dreamlike space where memories float like broken fragments. Here, she sees different versions of Cloud. Confused, scared, unsure of who he is. Tifa gently approaches him, speaking softly. "Cloud, I know you. The real you. Please, remember." They move through Cloud's memories together. First, they revisit Nibelheim, the place Sephiroth burned years ago. Cloud sees the memories Sephiroth forced upon him, Zack standing there instead of him, but Tifa stops him. "No, Cloud, you were there," she says. "But you weren't in Soldier. You were just a Shinra infantryman. You didn't want me to see you like that, so you hid your face beneath your helmet. But you were there. You're real." Slowly, the truth begins to piece together. Cloud had always admired soldiers like Sephiroth and Zack, dreaming of becoming a hero, but he never made it into Soldier. He was just a regular Shinra grunt. During the Nibelheim incident, it was Zack, not Cloud, who stood beside Sephiroth in the reactor. Sephiroth killed Zack and tried to kill Tifa. But in that moment, Cloud found strength he didn't know he had. He picked up Zack's sword and fought Sephiroth himself, managing to wound him and throw him into the Mako reactor. Cloud did have the courage to fight back. But afterward, Shinra captured him and Zack. They were used as experiments, injected with Mako and Genova cells by Professor Hojo. The trauma, combined with the Genova cells, fractured Cloud's mind. When Zack eventually escaped with Cloud, they were hunted by Shinra. In their final moments together outside Midgar, Zack was killed, protecting Cloud. Zack's dying wish was for Cloud to live on. Cloud, traumatized and infused with Genova cells, unconsciously took on parts of Zack's memories and personality, becoming the ex-soldier he believed himself to be. Tifa stays with Cloud through every fragment of memory. Holding his hand, she reassures him.
"You're you, Cloud. Not Zack, not a puppet. You're the boy from Nibelheim who always wanted to help, who promised to protect me under the stars. That's who you are."
Cloud looks at her with clear eyes for the first time.
I remember now.
The broken pieces of his mind finally align. The false memories fade. Cloud accepts the truth of his past, his weaknesses, his mistakes, but also his strength. And in that acceptance, he finds himself. When Cloud opens his eyes again, he's back in the real world. Tifa is beside him, smiling softly with relief.
I'm me.
He says quietly, his voice steady.
I know who I am now. Sephiroth tried to break me, but he failed.
With his true self restored, Cloud feels a calm determination. He's no longer running from his past. He knows what he must do. They reunite with the others. Though Meteor still hangs in the sky, there's a renewed hope. Cloud takes the lead again, confident and clear-minded. But the journey is far from over. Sephiroth still waits at the northern crater, where he's gathering power from the planet's wound. Meteor draws closer each day, and Shinra, desperate, has built the Sister Ray, a giant cannon, to try to destroy the weapons. Before they can confront Sephiroth, they must first face Shinra one last time, as the company's greed and desperation threaten to make everything worse. Cloud looks up at the sky, at the burning red glow of Meteor. "This ends soon," he says, "one way or another. With Cloud's true self restored, the group finally feels a sense of clarity. For the first time since Aerith's death, there's hope again. Cloud is calm now, his voice steady, his movements deliberate. The confusion and hesitation that haunted him are gone. But the world outside is worse than ever. Meteor hangs ominously in the sky, larger each day, casting a crimson glow that stains the earth below. Everywhere they travel, people are panicking. Villages are abandoned, cities filled with fear. And the planet's natural guardians, the weapons, massive living machines of destruction, have awakened, roaming the world and attacking anything in their path. Shinra, in desperation, has turned its full might toward controlling the chaos. Rufus Shinra orders the construction of the Sister Ray, a colossal cannon that uses Mako energy to fire devastating blasts. His goal is simple: destroy the weapons and regain control. But in doing so, Shinra drains even more life from the planet, accelerating its pain. Cloud knows they can't allow Shinra to continue, but before they can face Sephiroth in the northern crater, they must deal with Shinra's madness, once and for all. The group travels back to Midgar, now under strict military lockdown. Shinra soldiers patrol the streets nervously as the Sister Ray is prepared for its first test firing. Meanwhile, one of the greatest weapons, Diamond Weapon, a towering creature of stone and steel, approaches Midgar, marching from the sea. Its eyes glow with primal fury as it charges toward the city. Rufus and Shinra's forces prepare for an all-out battle. The Sister Ray powers up with a deafening hum, Mako energy swirling like a storm. From the skies above, Diamond Weapon roars, releasing a devastating energy blast at the city. The ground shakes, buildings crumble, and then the Sister Ray fires. A massive beam of pure Mako energy streaks across the sky, striking Diamond Weapon with unbelievable force. The creature staggers, lets out a final echoing scream, and collapses into the ocean. But even in death, it fires one last desperate volley, destroying part of Midgar and striking the upper floors of the Shinra Tower itself. The blast rocks the building, and Rufus Shinra, watching from his office, vanishes in the explosion. The once untouchable Shinra president is gone. With Shinra weakened and in chaos, Cloud and the others infiltrate Midgar one last time. Inside the ruined tower, they face Hojo, the twisted scientist who began all of this. Hojo reveals his final plan to merge himself fully with Genova's cells and help Sephiroth ascend. He speaks like a man consumed entirely by madness, laughing at the destruction he's caused. The group battles Hojo in a brutal fight. His body mutates horribly, merging with alien cells until he becomes a monstrous abomination. But Cloud and his friends strike him down, ending the legacy of Shinra's darkest experiments. With Shinra effectively defeated, there is only one enemy left: Sephiroth. Cloud looks to the horizon where the northern crater waits. Sephiroth is there, gathering energy, feeding on the planet's wound, and waiting for Meteor to fall so he can absorb the life stream and become a god. But there is still one chance. Before her death, Aerith prayed for Holy, the ultimate magic that could counter Meteor. But Holy is trapped, unable to move because Sephiroth is blocking it from within the planet. If they defeat Sephiroth, Holy can finally be released. It's the only way to save the planet. Cloud tells the group the truth. This is it, the final battle. If we don't stop him now, the planet's finished. They all nod, each ready in their own way. Barret grips his gun arm with determination. Tifa closes her eyes, steadying her resolve. Sid smirks, ready for the fight. Yuffie spins her shuriken, eager to prove herself. Red 13 lifts his head proudly, honoring the planet. Even Kate Sith stands silently serious for once. Before heading to the crater, Cloud takes a quiet moment alone. He looks up at the sky, at Meteor looming above. He thinks of Aerith, her soft smile, her prayer, and the way she trusted him to protect the world even after she was gone. He whispers softly, "We're coming, Aerith. I'll finish this." The group boards the Highwind, Cid's airship, and soars across the skies one last time. The northern crater glows like a wound on the planet's surface, pulsing with dark energy. As they approach, the air grows heavier, almost hard to breathe. The closer they get, the more they can feel Sephiroth's presence. A cold, suffocating pressure that fills their minds. They land near the crater's edge and begin the long descent. Inside, the crater is like another world. Crystals jut out from the walls, glowing with eerie light. Strange creatures, born from the planet's pain, block their path. The life stream itself pulses visibly here, flowing like veins through the earth. With every step deeper into the crater, Sephiroth's voice echoes in their minds, taunting them. "You can't stop destiny. The planet will bleed, and I will ascend." Cloud says nothing. His grip on the Buster Sword is steady. He knows this time, Sephiroth's tricks won't break him. They press forward through the alien landscape, closer to the heart of the planet, where the final battle awaits. The northern crater looms like a scar on the planet, glowing with an eerie, unnatural light. The air is dense, heavy with energy, and every breath feels charged with something ancient and powerful. The Highwind hovers above as Cloud and the group prepare for the final descent. This is it, the point of no return. Before stepping inside, they take a quiet moment. Barret mutters about wanting to see Marlene again. Tifa glances at Cloud, her eyes soft but determined. Red 13 says nothing, but his gaze is strong, as if carrying the will of his ancestors. Yuffie fidgets nervously but forces a grin. Even Kate Sith stands silently, understanding the weight of this moment. Cloud leads them down into the crater. The inside is alien, unlike anything on the surface. Strange crystalline structures jut out from every wall, glowing with shifting colors. The life stream flows visibly here, like glowing rivers, weaving through the ground like veins in a living body. It's beautiful, but it feels wrong. Too bright, too alive, yet scarred by something unnatural. As they descend deeper, whispers echo around them. They're not voices exactly, more like fragments of thoughts, memories of the planet, of the Cetra, of pain and loss. Aerith's presence feels faint but comforting, like she's guiding them through this place. The deeper they go, the more the crater warps. Gravity twists. Time feels strange. The walls pulse like they're breathing. Sephiroth's influence grows stronger, invading their minds with visions of the past. Cloud feels it most. He sees flashes of Nibelheim burning again, Zack's final moments, Aerith praying, Sephiroth standing tall, his glowing eyes staring straight into Cloud's soul. But Cloud doesn't waver. This time his mind is clear. He knows who he is. Sephiroth's illusions won't break him anymore. Finally, they reach a vast chamber deep within the crater. Waiting for them is Jenova. Not the fragments they've fought before, but Jenova in her final grotesque form. It is a monstrous alien horror, pale, shifting, with tendrils and eyes that seem to watch from every angle. This is the source of it all, the calamity from the sky that tried to destroy the planet long ago. Jenova speaks without words, a cold presence that seeps into their minds. It's clear now that Sephiroth is using Jenova's cells to manifest his will, drawing on its power. The battle begins. Genova strikes with attacks that twist reality, warping the air around them. Tentacles lash out like whips, and strange orbs of energy explode in bursts of light. But the group fights with everything they have. Barret's gun roars. Tifa's fists strike like lightning. Yuffie's shuriken spins through the air. And Sid dives in with his spear. Cloud, steady and focused, leads the charge. Finally, with a combined strike, Genova screams, a horrible, echoing sound that shakes the entire chamber, and collapses. Its body dissolves into strange, shimmering particles, leaving only silence. Cloud looks up. At the center of the chamber, beyond the remains of Genova, lies the core of the planet's wound. And there, suspended in a cocoon of crystal-like material, is Sephiroth. He looks serene, almost angelic, encased in the life stream's energy. This is his true form now, merged with Genova's will, connected to the planet itself. He is the one holding Holy back, preventing Aerith's prayer from being unleashed. Sephiroth's voice echoes through the chamber. You've come this far, only to fail. This planet will bleed. Holy cannot save it. And when the life stream gathers, I will become one with everything. A god above gods. Silver Cloud grips his sword tightly. Not while I'm still standing! The crystal shatters, and Sephiroth emerges. His appearance has changed, his body elongated, alien, yet elegant. Wings of shimmering energy stretch from his back. He's no longer entirely human, but something beyond it, a being fused with Genova's essence and the planet's energy. The final battle begins. The chamber shakes violently as Sephiroth summons meteors, energy blasts, and illusions of the group's greatest fears. He twists space and time around them, drawing on the planet's very life force. But the group doesn't falter. They fight with everything they've gained on this journey, their strength, their trust in one another, and the memory of those they've lost. Sephiroth's attacks grow more devastating, but Cloud stays calm. His mind is clear. Every strike of his sword is precise, every movement filled with purpose. Finally, after a long, grueling battle, Sephiroth staggers. The chamber begins to collapse, the energy of the planet surging wildly. But Sephiroth isn't finished. In a flash of light, Cloud is pulled into a different space, alone. Here, everything is white and endless. Time doesn't exist, and waiting in the center of this void is Sephiroth in his most iconic form. Calm, composed, with the long silver hair, the black coat, and the single black wing unfurled. This is Sephiroth as he truly is. No illusions, no puppets. Just the two of them, facing each other. Cloud grips the Buster Sword and steps forward. This is it, he says quietly. For Aerith. For the planet. For everyone. Sephiroth smirks faintly. Show me what you're made of, Cloud. The two clash in a final, one-on-one battle. There are no allies here, no distractions. Only Cloud's resolve against Sephiroth's cold, unyielding will. The fight is fast, brutal, and quiet. Each strike echoes like thunder in the empty void. Cloud moves with all the strength he's gained, all the clarity he's found. Sephiroth counters with deadly grace, but for the first time, he is pushed back. And then, with one final, powerful strike, Cloud pierces through Sephiroth. Sephiroth's eyes widen slightly. There's no scream, only a quiet acknowledgement. You are stronger than I thought. His form dissolves into light, vanishing into the void. Cloud exhales slowly, lowering his sword. It's over. He returns to the collapsing crater where the others are waiting. With Sephiroth gone, his grip on Holy is finally released. Above them, the skies begin to change. Holy awakens, shining with pure white light, moving toward Meteor to stop its descent. But it's not clear if it's enough. Meteor is already so close, its fiery surface tearing through the sky. The planet itself begins to react. The life stream surges upward from the Earth, glowing rivers of green energy rising to the heavens. Cloud and the group escape the crater as the entire world begins to shake. With the clash between Meteor, Holy, and the planet's own life force, they look up at the sky. The fate of the planet is about to be decided. The group escapes the collapsing northern crater aboard the high wind. As they rise above the scarred land, they look to the sky and see Meteor. It is massive now, filling nearly half the heavens. A fiery, red orb tearing through the clouds, its surface cracking with molten energy. It looms over the planet like the end of all things. Below it, cities tremble, the oceans churn, the winds scream, as the planet itself cries out in pain. But there is also hope. Holy awakens. A brilliant white light begins to radiate from the core of the planet, slowly moving upward, gathering strength. It is Aerith's prayer, made real. The last defense of the planet. But Meteor is already too close. Its pull too strong. The fiery sphere pushes violently against Holy's barrier, and the two forces collide in a catastrophic clash. From space, you would see it. The giant red meteor pressing down, and the shining white glow of Holy pushing back, struggling to hold it. But Meteor's power is overwhelming. It begins to rip through Midgar, pulling apart entire sections of the city. Buildings crumble, steel plates twist and fall into the abyss. The planet shudders violently. On the deck of the High Wind, Cloud and the others watch in stunned silence. Holy is there, but it's not enough. Tifa grips the railing tightly. It's not working. It's too late. Barret clenches his fists, his voice low and shaking. Damn it! After everything. But then, something stirs. From the depths of the planet, the life stream itself begins to rise. Glowing rivers of green energy burst from the ground across the world. Like veins of pure life, they stream upward into the sky, joining together in a vast, flowing network. The life stream pours toward Meteor, intertwining with Holy's light. And in that glowing energy, there is a familiar presence. Aerith. She appears in Cloud's mind for a fleeting moment, smiling gently, surrounded by soft green light. Her hands are clasped, as if still praying. Cloud feels her warmth, her quiet strength. Together, Holy and the life stream combine, their power overwhelming Meteor. The massive red orb begins to crack. Pieces of it break away as the combined force of Holy and the planet's own life energy pushes back. Meteor shatters in a blinding explosion of light. The skies clear. Midgar, though scarred and broken, is saved. The planet breathes again. On the High Wind, the group watches as the last fragments of Meteor dissolve into the sky. There's a long, quiet moment. It's over, Tifa whispers. Cloud closes his eyes. In the fading light, he thinks of Aerith one last time. She gave her life for this moment. And in the end, her prayer saved the world. The screen of the planet shifts to peace. The high wind soars over the land, and the music is soft and gentle. The world isn't perfect. Midgar is in ruins. Shinra's legacy still lingers, but there is hope now, a new chance. And then, the scene fades. 500 years later, the screen is filled with lush greenery. Nature has reclaimed the ruins. The air is clean, the skies clear. Life has flourished again. On a rocky cliff overlooking the vast green expanse, we see Red 13, older now. His fur streaked with gray, but his eyes still bright. Running beside him are two smaller cubs, his children. They race toward the ruins of Midgar, now overtaken entirely by trees, vines, and wildlife. The once cold metallic city is nothing but a memory beneath the beauty of the planet's rebirth. Red 13 stands on a cliff, looking down at the overgrown ruins, and lets out a proud, powerful roar. The planet survived. Life goes on. And so, the story of Final Fantasy VII ends. A journey of broken memories and redemption. A story of friendship, love, and loss. A battle against greed, fate, and a man who wanted to become a god. Aerith's prayer saved the planet. Cloud found himself again. And even in death, hope lived on. Thanks for listening to Sleepy Gamer Stories. I hope you found tonight's tale soothing. If you did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Good night, and sleep well.